going to turn our attention to my other colleague, Lisa Evers. She is currently outside criminal court in Lower Manhattan, and she has been covering the pretrial hearing that's been going on since last week for Luigi Mangione. Now, his defense team, they have been in the process since a week ago, last week. They are trying to have really some critical evidence in this case that was collected. They're trying to have this thrown out. They want to block it from being presented during the trial when that trial eventually begins. So Lisa, I know you were in court again early today and you just came out. Just bring us up to speed today on what happened in court.
Well, Linda, first of all, this is day 6 of this pretrial hearing. It's a very high-stakes affair because what is decided here, according to the legal attorneys or the legal defense... You hear me okay? Linda, do you hear me okay?
I hear you okay, Lisa. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the today's day 6 of this pretrial hearing. It's very high stakes. The importance of it cannot be overstated because what's decided here will determine what happens in that trial and how much of an advantage or disadvantage both sides have, both the prosecutors and the defense. At stake, and what we heard about yet again today, but from a totally different angle, is that search of his backpack in that Altoona McDonald's on December 9th, 2024. This is when the Pennsylvania police detained him in the McDonald's. Their arrest was initially over a fake ID. They're claiming in court, and we heard more evidence, more testimony this morning from the commander, this Lieutenant William Hanley from Altoona Police Department. They believe they had the right to search the backpack because they were arresting him on this charge of having a fake ID. But however, they knew that this was Luigi Mangione. They knew he was the suspect in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. So the whole issue of the backpack's critical because what's in the backpack, what they found was a gun, a silencer, 2 loaded magazine clips. One of those clips was full of hollow point bullets, which are also called dum-dum bullets or cop killer bullets. There was also this notebook that contained what prosecutors previously described as a manifesto, talking about it. We also saw in court earlier this week, there was a map that he had drawn of different cities that it's not clear if he was going for specific people in those cities or why he was, but it was a hand drawn like on a piece of copy paper with the different cities and kind of a route or whatever. So it's not clear what the importance is of that, but the prosecutors really want that evidence in where they say it basically details this assassination attempt on, or assassination, excuse me, of Brian Thompson. So it's I'm sure after the lunch break this afternoon, his defense team will have a go at it. His defense team, his lead defense attorney is Karen Friedman Agnifilo. She's the wife of Mark Agnifilo. If that name sounds familiar, that's because he's was the lead attorney in the Diddy trial. He was here in court today. He hasn't been here every single day, but he was here at the table today. Luigi Mangione paying attention as he has. But Linda, one of the crazy things was they had for this Lieutenant Hanley, he was describing to the court and to the ADA who was questioning him the calls that he was making as he's driving, because he's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's the morning they nab Mangione in the McDonald's. He's driving to the McDonald's, and then they put up one screen after another of all these phone calls. It had to be well over a half a dozen phone calls. He's calling the local DA a couple of times. He's calling other people in the district attorney's office a couple of times to let them know and give them a heads up. It's like, listen, we're pretty sure this guy we have in the McDonald's is the guy that, the entire the entire country, everywhere in the United States they're looking for. So then one number comes up on the screen, and it's 646-6110 is the first 6 numbers of it. And I'm going, wait a minute, that's the NYPD headquarters main
right.
exchange. And he's actually calling from long distance, I don't know how he got it, but he went, he's calling that number, this main number which goes into the 911 dispatch. And he's trying to explain to the 911 operator, listen, this is who I am. This is where I'm from. She's like, Altoona, what is that? It's like she's trying to figure out what it was. But then she realized, to her credit, she realized it was very important. She said, hold on a second. Let me put you through to the supervisor. We'll get you through to the detectives. To the detectives right away. So there's a lot of that, but it's still, there's no way around this whole issue. It's going to be real interesting if the judge says, yes, the backpack's stays in, which will be a victory for the prosecutors, or if make it tougher for the defense. And if he says no, the backpack is out. A lot of people that I talked to about this case, both the attorneys as well as law enforcement people on background, is that they have a lot of other evidence that they can use against Mangione to convince a jury that he's guilty. But the backpack is so critical because, as you know, Linda, it puts the whole thing together, everything there. You got the gun that Commissioner Tisch said early on last year matches the ballistics that were found at the shooting of Brian Thompson. You've got that manifesto. You've got the loaded magazines, which were, incidentally, they testified, were wrapped in white men's wet underwear. So it's just, there's a lot right there. But that's the latest. It's going to continue on this afternoon, and it's probably going to continue into next week. This is unprecedented for a pretrial hearing to go this long. The judge has said to them, listen, he's kind of tried to tamp down this back and forth, the hostility that's already brewing between the defense and the prosecutors, saying, listen, this is not the trial. You have plenty of time to object, plenty of time to raise certain issues during the trial. But that's the latest here from criminal court. Linda, back to you.
Hey, Lise, do we still have any idea how many more people are going to be called? Because last week we were talking about, you guys were hearing anywhere between 20 to 28 people would be called to testify. We have any clear picture of that today?
No, but no, not really. But if we go by that original number, which was well over 20, we're not even at the halfway mark yet, because because the way that it's been going down this week is there may be somebody. Some of the days there's been somebody that comes on for a very short period of time at the beginning. Then the prosecutor calls their witness. The witness is there during the early part of the day, and then after the lunch, the defense has their chance to question the witness. So that's basically, you're having like no more than 2 people a day for this week, every day. So
the wheels of justice do move very slowly, and a lot of times when, as you know, Lisa, because we've covered these pretrial hearings and trials throughout all of our careers, but somebody could end up being on the stand for 2 or 3 days, just one person, going back between the defense and the prosecution.
That's happened too.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, because
that's already happened.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot too. The evidence that was in the backpack, the gun, the ghost gun, and the manifesto, in addition to other evidence. Now, a lot of the attorneys that you've been talking to and that we've also been talking to are saying, look, that's critical evidence, of course, because it ties everything together. However, there have been many people who have been convicted at trial without a weapon being part of the evidence. And there's so much other evidence here that you have just talked about that it lays out a timeline for Luigi Mangione and exactly what happened here. And there's all sorts of surveillance video of him from not only the youth hostel that he stayed at, but also him hopping on that e-bike and heading uptown to get on the bus to go to Pennsylvania, and the bus tickets, and just so many other pieces of evidence that many lawyers are saying could absolutely convict him.
Well, no, and that's the other point too, and also the ballistic evidence. So, but it's critical. The backpack would make it much easier, especially in front of a jury, because sometimes a jury, oh, here's the gun. Then you have the NYPD ballistics department expert testifying. Well, these are the bullets that match the gun, and we know this because this is what the markings are on the bullet when it comes through that particular gun. So people think these 3D guns are completely anonymous because they're called ghost guns, but they're not. They can still track the ballistics. They can still tell what kind of gun a bullet was fired from. It's very highly developed science right now here, especially with the NYPD. So we'll see what happens, Linda, but there's a lot more. This is probably going to go into next week. Then what happens next, just to let everybody know, there's not going to be like a big aha moment in court where the judge goes, the backpack is in or the backpack is out. He's most likely, what we're hearing now is we'll do a written order about what can go in, what can go out, and then that would be expected in early January after the holidays. So that's what we're looking at down here, Linda. Back to you.
Okay, Lise, thanks so much. Great job. I know you got to get back into court, so I'll let you go. Thanks again.